Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Getting back to work on the MR2, left off in the last video, and I am running out of time to get this thing drivable and presentable for the car show that I want to take it to that's coming up here tomorrow. That being said, I'm going to kind of just be throwing some stuff together as is, best I can do at the moment, just because I'm out of time. I don't have time to recover the passenger seat. I don't have time to do the custom work that's on the matching leather door inserts. So those will be another video at another time. I'm really going to concentrate on this video and just kind of getting everything together best I can. Adjust the door glass that needs to be adjusted, start cleaning things, or finish cleaning things up in the interior, get it all put together so it's presentable. And then it's going to be scrubbing the wheels and tires, getting those cleaned up, get those installed, and then get this thing off jack stands, get it outside, and give it a bath. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get to work on getting the door window adjusted so I can go ahead and get the door card installed and then finish up the interior. All right, well, before putting any seats in or anything else, I decided to throw the center console and everything in. So everything as far as the trimmer on the radio, cigarette lighter, center console, shifter trim and everything, and the storage box are all back in place. So that's all taken care of. Next on the list is to go ahead and adjust the door window and then get the trim on the passenger door. All right, so as far as the passenger side glass goes, here is the big problem area. I mean, you can literally see daylight through there. It's not adjusted right, so I need to get the window adjusted so it comes up more in the back, sits better as far as the seal goes. I mean, you can see it's pretty tight there where it's greased. You can see it's making good pressure there. It's along the T-top seal that's the big problem over there. And then it looks like it might be pinching a little bit here, so I might actually have to come down in the front ever so slightly. So I am going to get started on adjusting the window. As far as the adjustments go, the book has basically all the instructions on what to do as far as like how you need to, what you're looking to move and then how to move it and where all the different adjustment bolts are. So just refer to your book and it'll give you all the information you need. All right, so I made some adjustments to the stops and the glass is pretty much as high as it's gonna go and I still have that gap there. I adjusted the front down because it was a little too high, so we're good there on the front. I'm thinking the issue is actually with the T-top seal and how it lays, because just in looking at the T-top itself, it's just the seal doesn't even really line up right. I'm guessing I need to get the eccentrics to adjust the mounting position, because like it should probably be more along the lines of here, but then as soon as you close it, it pulls it back and pulls it away. So I'm thinking I may just have to order the eccentrics to adjust where the T-top lays, and that's probably as good as I'm going to get, so at least for now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get the door panel put back on the car and call it a day as far as adjusting the window goes. All right, so going back to the issues with the door cards and the MR2 Heaven inserts, here's what it looks like installed, and you can see the area where you're supposed to cut it out here for the door handle. From what I found on their website, based on what I said in my last video, is for a car that has cloth originally, which this does, you need to cut the cloth out and then remove some foam in order to be able to get the handle trim to fit in here enough, because this foam is really thick. You can kind of see at an angle. That's, it's got some thickness to it, so that just keeps the trim from being able to reach in, and that trim is so brittle I'm afraid it's going to snap if I really force it too much. So I'm gonna, like I did on the other side, just go ahead and remove this for now because I need to get the car together for the show. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I will come back at another time and do these one at a time and just really adjust, try and remove that fabric and then remove some of the foam and then just reinstall them that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done and then get back to work. All right, same as the other side, I went ahead and put those little foam washers on all of the clips to avoid any vibrations. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this installed. All right, there we go. Everything is put back into place. So I just need to clean it up, get some of the wood shavings off from me taking that panel off. But yeah, I will have to revisit those inserts down the road and try and get that modification finalized at that time. All right, and then there is the subwoofer reinstalled on the driver's side behind the seat. Just sits up on the shelf and is strapped into place. You can see the wire there that goes down into the storage bin. So that is how this is set up in the car. The amp is up in the front. It was done, like I said, by the previous owner. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the driver's seat put in. All right, I just realized I never did the headrest for the driver's seat. So here is the headrest installed. I actually went over the existing fabric. I didn't take that off, and it just Velcros on. So pretty straightforward. I mean, I might be able to massage it a little bit more just to clear it up a little bit more and straighten a few things out. So I'll probably mess with that just a little bit more, but that's pretty straightforward. And then as far as installing it on the seat, I'm just gonna take it, use the post to kind of find the holes that are up here, put a punch in, and then I can insert the tubes back in. I kind of left them on here just so I could have kind of indexed how they were in the seat previously, so they can snap into their place, because these are like a little clip that squeezes and snaps in to the seat frame. So I'm gonna go ahead and mess around with it a little bit more, get those installed, and then I can go ahead and put the seat in the car. All right, and there is the headrest installed. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the seat mounted in the car. All right, and there we are. Driving seat is installed. And I'm pretty happy with how it looks. It's probably gonna wear in a little bit more, and some of the remaining wrinkles should smooth out over time. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna go ahead, get the rocker trim on, and that'll pretty much wrap up the driver's side. And then it's just putting the passenger seat and passenger rocker molding in, and then we should be done. All right, and here we have it. Floor mats installed, trims installed, driver's side is done. So, and it is now time to get over to the passenger side and clean up what I have over there, get the seat in, get the trim in on the rocker, and get it all cleaned up, and call the interior done on this car. All right, got the seat in, and as I was going through my pile of parts, I realized I forgot to put the visors in. So still have to do that on both sides. So I'm gonna do that now, and then I'll get the rocker trim put in and the floor mat, and we will be all set. All right, and here we go. Trim is all in, including the floor mats. So yeah, this car has an interior again. Looks great. So happy to see this thing put back together. So next on the list, have a few outside things to take care of before I take it outside and give it its first bath in a year, or almost a year. So I'm gonna get to work on the outside stuff. All right, so first on the exterior list is the quarter vents. Mine were broken, as are most of them, and can't find them anymore. They're pretty much unobtainium. So I found these. Somebody was making them online a few years ago, ordered them. So they basically fit in perfectly like that, and then they have the new screws that just replace these 3 Phillips head screws, and that's what keeps them in place. So I'm gonna clean out the gunk that's in there first, and then I'll go ahead and get these installed. All right, and here is the final result, what they look like installed. Pretty happy with it. It's simple, but does the job. Cleaned everything out inside, so you don't see all the white leftover residue from when it was polished. So yeah, looks pretty good. So on to the next. All right, this one was an easy one. Brand new adhesive backed front emblem, went on pretty easy. Here is the part number in case anybody needs it, but you don't have to use the little retainer clips that the factory one used. This just sticks right on. So emblem on, now onto the fog lights. All right, so for the fog lights, when I got the car, the fog lights were basically just in those brackets using zip screws, not really well mounted. So I did get the appropriate bolts for them, and found some nuts that I had laying around. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and put them in the correct way. And also for the driver's side, the connector, I'm guessing, was broken, and they just had, spade connectors. So I've got a couple of weatherproof 2-pin connectors, and I'm gonna go ahead and use that to put a better connector on there. All right, so I went ahead and used those handy dandy solder sticks to put the terminals on, or the connector on. So all set there. I'm just gonna run a little tape around these, and then I'll go ahead and get this fog light mounted. Passenger side is already in place. All right, fog lights are in. To say that that was difficult is an understatement. The retaining nuts are a pain in the butt to get to if you have stripped out brackets like I do and need to actually use nuts. So just a heads up, forewarning, it's not fun, but it is done. All right, next on the list, I just installed a new OEM replacement cowl, as well as MR2 Heaven wiper arms, because mine were pretty faded and in rough shape. So those are now installed. Next on the list is going to be to go ahead and clean the wheels and then get those installed. Still working on cleaning up the wheels and tires. This is basically what I'm starting with. I mean, they're not terrible, but you can see they're pretty grimy from just sitting around a body shop. And then go over them with mechanics wipes, and they clean up pretty nice. You know, I've gotten the two fronts done so far. So, just need to do the two rears, get them on, and then I can get this thing on the ground. Well, that is a beautiful sight to see. Been a long time since I've seen this thing with wheels on it. So, I'm gonna go ahead, get this thing on the ground, get everything torqued, and then it'll be time to pull it outside and give her a clean. All right, back on the ground, wheels are torqued, everything is buttoned up, and I just had to add the one last finishing touch. Gotta have the custom plate. So I'm gonna pull it out. I gotta go ahead and check tire pressures because they're probably all low from sitting for a while. Once I do that, I'm gonna take it for a quick run around the block, make sure everything's good, and then it'll be time to give it a bath. All right, here she is, out of the garage, just aired up the tires to 30, 34, where I've run them in the past. So now I'm going to take her for a little run around the blocks, see how she drives. I will say that just pulling out of the garage, this clutch is definitely an on-off switch. It is very, very grippy and it's going to take some getting used to. So, but yeah, we'll see how she does on a little test drive. All right, just got back, headed out for probably about 15 minutes, just kind of doing some laps around neighborhoods and whatnot. Wow, it sounds so good. That little 2GR in this car screams. And the thing hauls ass, that is for sure. It is not a slow car. Didn't get on it too much because it's, new clutch breaking it in, but I did, get on a few times. One thing I noticed, and I actually had this before doing the swap, is in the rear end, low speed turns, I'm feeling like a clunking, thumping sound. I'm actually thinking it's the tires, because I believe this thing has a limited slip differential. That's what I was told. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's a Cusco. But I think, between the limited slip and these really, really, really gummy tires, it's just like struggling for the differential. So it's almost differential chatter, because it's like a clunk, clunk, clunk. And then once you get going, it's fine. But it's only at very low speeds from like a dead stop if I'm making like a left turn or a right turn from a stop sign. So I'll look into it a little more, but I do remember it doing this before I did the swap and changed the axles and everything. So this is something that it had previously, and I do think it started when I got these tires. So really thinking it's a just these Falcon Azenis are just really, really gummy. I mean, this thing throws stones all over the place, which is why I've got the mud guards on it. So anyway, gonna give it a little bath for the show tomorrow and then put it away for the night. All right, here we go, nice and clean. Man, this thing is gorgeous. It really is. I am so utterly impressed with how it turned out. Beautiful color. As I thought, this window leaked. You can see, even though I tried to avoid. But like I said, there's a gap that you can visibly see through, so not surprised about that. So like I said, I have to look and try and find the eccentrics for the T-tops to try and adjust where they pull down on the weather strip. But yeah, looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing inside for the night. I'll clean the windows and do a few things tomorrow morning before I take it to the show, but otherwise pretty good to go. All right, next day, just finished going over a few things. Went over the side windows with Goo Gone and a razor blade to get all the remaining adhesive off, so those are good and clean. The only marks that are really on the glass now are just, there's a couple of scratches, one on each side. There was actually a little overspray on each window on the outside as well that I cleaned off. So that is done. I went and cleaned the windshield, wiped down the interior one more time, wiped down the engine a little bit and just went over and tried to get any drip marks. So I think we are all set. I'll be heading out to the show here in a few minutes. All right, well, made it back from the show. It was a pretty good turnout and the car was a hit. I ended up spending most of the time talking with people about this car, or their cars obviously, but yeah, a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people were interested in it. to the point that I really didn't have a chance to walk around and totally forgot to take any video or photos or anything. Thankfully, a friend of mine that was at the show did take a picture of this, so I'll insert that here at the end of the video. But yeah, that being said, I think I am going to end it with this. I am going to be going back to work this week. Vacation is now over, so it'll probably be back to like one video a week. There's still, still lots of things on my to-do list for this car. Thankfully, it's more smaller stuff. And then I also think I need to start getting to work on the Cobra as well. So that being said, if you like what you're seeing, if you're interested in following along, please hit like, please hit subscribe, please hit the notification bell. I do appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section. I do reply. Thank you for watching and have a great day.